Hello everyone, welcome to the Travel Coach, moving body, mind and spirit. My guest today is an artist and art therapist, born in San Francisco but living in Vienna. At the age of 25, she sold her 66 Ford Mustang to finance her 90-day Eurail trip through Europe. She believes that being a world traveler opens up your senses for new perspectives, increases your ability to go with the flow of life, and opens doors which you may have never imagined. Her motto is, travel is life-changing, and today we are going to understand why. Kathy Eichhorn, welcome to the Travel Coach.
Hi, Sonia. Thank you so much for having me tonight.
It's my pleasure. You're so welcome. I'm looking forward to hear more about this 90 days trip you did in Europe. But before that, I would like to get started. If you can tell us more about your relationship with travel growing up. What's your memories of this phase of your life?
When I was a child, we went to the same place every summer and it was beautiful. It was up in the Sierra Nevada mountains, a place called Feather River Park Resort. And we went fishing and hiking and bicycling and swimming, and it was a really fun family time. We stayed in log cabins and lots of our cousins came up at the same time. So it was really time to just hang out with cousins. And as we got older, we brought friends, and it was really fun, but we didn't leave California much. We went to Mexico once and we went to Canada once. And otherwise we were pretty much in the state of California. We did go to Hawaii once, which was lovely, and to the East Coast. And that was later when I was in college. We went to visit my brother who was living outside of Boston. So I didn't really see much of the world until I sold my Mustang.
Yeah, that's a lovely story. So I said at the beginning in your introduction that you are artist and art therapist. So when did you realize you were an artist? Is something that was in you when you were a child, and how this relates with travel?
Well, yeah, I definitely was an artist as a child. I mean, in kindergarten, elementary school, and even in high school. And when I thought about what I should study in college, I was really torn between psychology or art. And then I thought, I have to do this. And asked my parents, and they were like, go ahead and have fun now. You have to do something else when you're an adult anyway, which is ironic because I'm really an artist. And that was wonderful. That was in Santa Barbara. And then I went on to study art, interior design in San Francisco. And studies, I saw so much art and architecture. I just knew I had to get to Europe, because all of our slideshows, all of our books, the photos, everything was in Europe, and I wanted to see it live.
Yeah, so when you saw all this amazing architecture and things we have in Europe, you got this desire to travel even more, right? You were explaining at the beginning that you didn't see much, despite the memories looks, for what you said, very happy memories, but you didn't see much of the world. So that was the moment that you said, I have to see this with my very eyes.
Yes, exactly.
So this was a thought, was a desire, but do you remember when was the first time you expressed it verbally? Who do you tell this desire that you wanted to realize this?
Actually, the first person I told, I think, was my fiance at the time, when I was in college, and I said, I have to get to Europe, and he said, no, I don't want to go. And you can't go without me. And I think I believed him for like 5 minutes. And then I'm like, I'm going. And then I talked it up with the second person I told was another artist, an art student who had been my roommate. And she was studying at UC Berkeley. And we decided when she graduates and I graduate, we're going to go. And then, should I tell that part of the story?
So you were, what age? You were early 20s, yeah? At that moment?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So your fiance at the time said, no, you don't go. I don't want to go, but you cannot go with me.
Yeah.
But you didn't accept that answer.
No, in fact, that was pretty much the end of that relationship.
Oh, no, Roy.
Well, you know, you can't tell a person that they have to stay in place.
That's true. That was a
Right.
sign that something was not, yeah,
Yeah.
I
So that was
understand.
good. And then, so my girlfriend and I saved, we were saving money. Should I tell about that part
So you
or?
found, yeah, you found a friend who said that they will join, yes?
Yeah. So
What
my
was the
friend,
preparation of this, the planning of this trip?
well, like I got a big map of Europe and I looked into Eurail passes. And in those days, you didn't have the internet. You had to go actually to a travel agency and get information that way, or make phone calls and things. And I just started talking it up to people, and really great offers came in. Like I was managing an art store at the time, and some of the students were like, "Oh, my mom's from Germany. Do you want to come over to our house and look at some photos?" And she'll tell you where to go. And another girl said, "Oh, my mom's best friend lives in London. Do you want to stay with her for free?" And I was like, "Okay."
Wow.
And so it's like once I decided I was going to go, the world opened and the opportunities came. It was amazing. Yeah,
Imagine, because we are talking in a moment in life that we didn't have the internet available. So it was
I
not that
know.
easy to
Yeah,
plan and search, right?
exactly. It's not like this that we could just talk, to each other. Yeah.
Yeah, things
And
changed a lot.
yeah, and then a big stumbling step was my girlfriend called me. I don't know, I think it was just a few weeks before departure, and she said, "I'm so sorry, I have to cancel. I'm in credit card debt. I can't come." And I
Oh,
was like,
God.
"No." And I mean, I had already sold my car, bought my Eurail ticket, my plane ticket. I had quit my job as manager. I still had to come back, so I only had the summertime, because I had 90 days summer break because I had to come back and finish studying. And I'm like, "No, I can't go." And then I woke up the next morning and I thought, "Wait a second, I'm ready. I'm prepared. I'm going." And
Okay,
then,
okay, okay. Wait, because that's impressive. So you didn't have, resources, not even internet to search, and then suddenly you were sharing that you were determined you're gonna go with this friend. People
Mhm.
starting helping you, that
Yes.
telling you about this. My aunt is here, my family member is there, my friend is there, so
Yes.
helping you in this adventure. People were so excited for you,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you
People
were
were really
excited that you
excited.
just quit your job. You sold your car. You said,
Yeah.
"I'm going." So you
Yeah.
were already there. And last minute, this friend that you were relying in the friend that to go together for 90
Yeah.
days trip in Europe, early
Yeah.
20s, never travel out of the US.
Yeah.
And the friend said, "Sorry, I cannot come."
I,
So the first reaction was like, now what I gonna do? How did you react to this news that your friend told you?
uh, well, it was interesting because I actually just thought, well, then I can't go. That was my first reaction because I thought of it as just like, I don't know, a young woman can't travel alone. I mean, this is going back some time,
Mm.
so nowadays I think that's really common that women travel alone much more often, any age. But then it was kind of revolutionary. I mean, my mom was freaked out, People were like, "What? You're going to do that?" So, yeah, but I knew I had already planned it. I mean, I had a map on the wall and I had pins all over all the destinations where I wanted to go. So, yeah, so
You were determined, whatever it takes, I'm gonna do it. You had already
ex
in your mind, so you had
exactly.
to make it happen. So I would like if you can tell us a bit more, because for many people, this situation would just make the decision to say, okay, I cannot go alone. So if this happened, maybe it was not meant to be, or find other
Hmm.
reasons why they just give up on this dream or this adventure and just say, okay, maybe next time, maybe next year. So I would like to, if you can share, if there is anybody who is in this situation or can be in the future, what was actually going on in your mind and how did you get to overcome this fear?
Um, well, I think the fear, it wasn't really mine. It was everyone else's. And so
Okay.
once I processed it and thought about like, wait, this is my dream. I want to do this, whether my girlfriend can or wants to do it or not, or if I have to do my dream alone, then I guess I do. And so that was life changing in and of itself to just say, I'm doing this no matter what anyone else says and whether or not someone can join me. And of course, it would have been amazing to do a trip like that with a good friend. Um, but so many doors were open to me because I was traveling alone. You know, it was
Okay.
so it was amazing. And so I don't know, it wasn't, it really took me about 24 hours. Like I remember waking up in the morning going, wait a second, I can go and I'm ready and I'm gonna go. Yeah, and then my mom and dad were like, no. Then they were really scared.
That's amazing that you said you didn't have this fear. It was fear that other people projected on you, or beliefs that you believed that you could not do it because you were a woman traveling alone, you know,
Oh, and I had had no experience. I mean, I didn't even, the only train I had gone on was like the BART train. It's like public transportation from the suburbs into San Francisco. And that's so easy. There's like one line, you know, it's like
yeah, yeah.
I didn't know. So, and I was so fortunate to get that opportunity to stay the first 3 weeks in London in a household with a bunch of English speaking people from all over the world. And the owner of the house was from America, so she sounded like I did. Her daughter was
Ah,
born there and was like 7, and she spoke very beautiful British English. And there was somebody from Wales there and somebody from, I think, New Zealand, people renting from her. And it was just um, a perfect start because I could leave my backpack there. Just I would leave the house with my map and my book and then figure out the trains, you know, the subway system, the underground, and so it was a perfect, you know, step into this is how you travel. And I could go home at night and talk to people, and that was nice. That was a really great way to start. Yeah.
so you got also help in the destination. People was explaining what you need to do, where to go. Let's see if now it's better.
Okay. Can you see? Can you hear me?
Now I hear you better. Yeah,
Okay, so I went to the window and there are more bars, the
I
interconnection.
see.
So I'm
Okay,
like
okay.
standing partly outside the window and it's working better now.
No worries. So you were explaining, I was telling you that, what's curious to hear that for an English speaker person also is challenging the language because usually it's about, other languages outside
Yeah,
of English. But it was
yeah,
very interesting your story within English also there is, misunderstanding and funny coincidences. And
yeah.
then you were telling me about your friend that you were moving after London. Where did you go?
That we went to Belgium and then through Germany together, and that was really nice to just travel with someone who had been an experienced traveler and, you know, like look at train schedules together and then move on. And then he left, he flew out of Munich. And from there, I was on my own, but not really, because then I took a train to Vienna, and Vienna was just amazing. I fell in love with Vienna. Um, and here I met with also a young person my age who had been in California, and we had stayed in touch. And I got to go and stay at her apartment, and she was a student, and so I met all of her student friends, and I got to see her band play, and I got stuck in Vienna for a whole week, you know, instead of 2 nights, because I was just like, I love it here. And then, yeah, and then I went on to Salzburg, where I met up with, I did the Sound of Music tour, as every American does, and I met up with a woman from Wales who I had met in London, and then we camped out there. That was really fun. And then I went on through Italy and through Greece, and then returned back. Mm, I can't remember the exact order. I was also in Paris, and that was my. Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Anyway, so it was quite amazing. And when I was traveling alone, which was most of the time, I stayed in youth hostels and met lots of Canadians and Americans, and that was fun too.
Okay, so you were learning from all these people who were already experts that you said that they traveled before and they explain you about the schedule of the trains and all this. So I suppose you were like absorbing everything and say, wow, that's amazing. And then I can do it on my own as well because you saw it doing it and this gave you more
Mhm.
confidence.
Yes, definitely. And then it became like I became one of the experts. I would get out at the train station and someone would say like, "Oh, can you help me find the youth hostel? And I'm like, yeah, follow me, you know? I mean, when you're
Oh,
on,
imagine.
yeah, when you're on the road for 90 days, it's really like you just build up confidence with each day, you know? And
Mm.
it was amazing just to wake up in different cities and go at my own pace, you know, walk to the next museum or along a river or just admire the architecture and sometimes meet people and sometimes just hang out by myself. It was really wonderful.
Did you feel at any point lonely or scared, or it was easy
Mm.
from the
Once I
beginning to the
did,
end?
no, one time, two times. Once on a night train um, through Italy, and a really scary man got into our wagon, and there was one other woman there, and like it was for six people, and it was just his energy. It was so like was my whole body was just on alert, and I'm like, and so I elbowed this woman next to me, and we whispered, and we agreed one of us would stay awake the whole time and the other would watch him. And we did that
Just
the
in
whole
case.
night. And that was the other time. And then the other time I kind of lost it. I was returning from Greece. I hadn't slept much because I had like, you know, first done the Corfu, then Athens, then Santorini, and then I was on my way back. And I didn't find anybody just to talk with along the way. And I was on the ship, you know, just on deck, and so not really sleeping. And then when I returned to Italy, I was so exhausted. I got in late at night and I couldn't find the youth hostel. And I had an emergency credit card, and that was my one night. I went to a hotel and
Okay, well,
I called my mom. I think it was the first time in like 60 days that she had heard from me. And I was like, Mom, I'm so tired. And she was just like, oh, I miss you. And she's like, go to sleep. And I think I slept for 14 hours in this really comfy, you know, cozy bed, not a youth hostel room with 10 other people, but it was that was my one really like restful night of sleep.
you need
And
it, right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, sometimes we want to check so many things and visit so many things that we don't take the time to rest and really spend one proper, relaxing and just, yeah, recharging batteries. You mentioned earlier that you fell in love with Vienna. You were already looking forward to this place. You discovered it and you fell in love when you saw it for the first time. How was this?
Well, you know, I knew about the secession movement and I wanted to see the secession building and I wanted to see Klimt and there was so much I wanted to see here, but it was really the people. I met such great
Mm.
Austrian people and then I wanted to come back and see them. And so I did actually. I journeyed all the way to Greece and then all the way back up. And before I flew back out of London, I came to Vienna and spent another week. And then when I finished my studies, I came back. So,
So you finished the 90 days trip. Well, before finishing the trip, if you had to just take a snapshot of one moment of that trip, what this would be?
um, I think being in Santorini and riding a moped all over the island and just seeing the really unique, you know, the white painted architecture with blue and looking at the ocean and just thinking like I'm so far away from home and I feel so safe and it's so amazing, you know. I think that would be the most spectacular moment.
The moment. Wow. Thank you for sharing that. So you were back
Thanks.
home after 90 days.
Yeah.
What happened when you were back home? What was different?
Well, everything was different. um, I was still like in a different mode. I had slowed down a lot. Like my pace I was much more present, I would say. And I remember going to a friend's wedding and I I just wasn't quite there. It was beautiful and everything. It was great to see people, but I was still like half of me was still in Europe, you know. So yeah. And then that semester I was still wearing my like, you know, grubby cut off jeans and my tank top and really in my head my long like well my hair actually kind of looks like it does now. That's what it looked like after backpacking. So I'm back into this now. And and I was just like I remember at work they said, "Could you dress a little bit nicer? The customers are talking." And I'm like, "Oh, am I not dressing nice?" Okay. So it took me a while to get back into my reality, the way I was supposed to be doing things. But yeah, that's okay.
So, do you think you were different? Your mindset just was, growth from that experience, and then that's why you didn't fit there? Or how you can explain that?
Um, yeah, I think I became more of an individual. Like I was more my authentic self, whereas before I was still really trying hard to kind of doing what society expected. You get good grades in high school and get into a good college, and you do all of these steps and you get your first job. And I did all this, and I was proud of myself, and also I felt like there was something missing. And after this, I was like, I knew there was more to this world.
Mm,
And so, yeah, it was really life-changing.
that's so good. So the awareness that you got that you didn't know before, because we don't know
Yeah,
what we don't know, right? So until you go and
yeah,
you see it with your eyes and you say, there is more. So what
yeah.
did you do?
Well, I graduated and then I moved to Vienna in January. And and I started to learn German. I didn't even speak German. I took Spanish in high school. So I didn't even know what danke meant, that was thank you. So that's pretty funny that I live here. And so you can learn a language when you're 25. Don't ever let anyone tell you that you cannot learn a new language,
You
because
can, of
you
course.
can
Look,
at any age. Yeah,
at any age, exactly.
exactly. Yeah.
Especially when you travel, the immersion of when you are in the country is much easier than just in a school, and yeah,
Yeah.
facilitates things. So you moved to Vienna and you felt at home, or it was a shock, cultural shock? How was the
Mm,
integration?
I actually was very lucky because I got to live with a friend, um, who I had kind of dated the summer before, and I had that same group of friends who were so nice to me in the summer before. And they were so kind, they just integrated me into their group. So I had in the daytime all of these other foreigners like myself, who were trying to learn German. But I had I was so lucky. I got to go home and be with Austrians and learn the language that way too. And they helped me find work, and it was really amazing. And then just when I thought I was going to go home, my parents came to visit, and my brother. And when they came, I met my husband.
Wow,
Yeah. So like,
that's,
who knew? And that was
yeah.
like my plans as a child. I really thought, okay, I'm going to live in the same city where I grew up. I'm going to do exactly what my parents did, you know, all the same things, because I didn't have a bigger picture.
Of
And
course.
so I think travel just opens up your mind, gives you
If
different options.
Imagine if you decided at that moment that your friend told you, I'm not coming, you said, okay, I don't go either. You would
I
not be
know.
explaining all this, right?
I know.
And you don't
That's
know
true.
until you connect the dots looking backwards. You don't know before all that you are
Right.
missing. By the
Yeah.
way,
And
what happened with that friend? Was she jealous when you explain all the stories? What happened?
yeah, I get to see her when I'm in California sometimes.
Ah, that's good.
She's doing well, and yeah, she's a good friend still.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's so good. So you are now in Vienna,
Yeah.
happily
So I
married.
Yeah, so I live in a little village outside of Vienna. It's about 30 minutes from the center of Vienna, and it's called Sulz im Wienerwald. And I'm here in my studio, where the internet connection is very bad. And it's
Yeah.
beautiful here. And we have lots of
Beautiful,
great
Kathy.
hiking trails. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing your story. That was so inspiring and
Thanks,
motivating.
Tanya.
So thank you for that. You know that I love collecting hidden gems around the world. So I will not let you go until you share with us that place, area, region in the place you are that you would like to share with us that is a must to visit.
Okay, well, I I like things off the beaten path, and I would recommend that you come to Sulz in Wienerwald. You can even take the bus from Vienna, the 255, if you don't have a car, and hike up to Schöfferhütte, and there's a beautiful view of Schneeberg, that's Snow Mountain, and there you can just stop and have a rest, and then continue on and hike to Hüllenstein, and there, if they're open, you can buy food or something to drink, but it's just like a great goal because it's like at the top of the mountain and with beautiful views in every direction, and then hike back down. And our village has some actually amazing restaurants. Stockerwirt is my favorite. Stockerwirt.com, I'm pretty sure is there. And another new favorite of mine is Die Vöglerin. And I have an exhibit there right now of 15 paintings of mine, and that's in the neighboring village. So, and if you come visit my studio, it's on top of the Raiffeisen Bank, and you can even do art with me. So come to Sulz. My studio is at Hauptstrasse 210 on top of the Raiffeisen Bank. So
I would love to visit you. Of
yes,
course.
please. Sonia, come. You have to.
And tell us more, if somebody wants to contact you and know more about your art and your art therapy, what's the best way to contact you?
Well, if you want to just shoot me an email, it's kathy.artisttherapy@gmail.com. And or you can check out my website. It's www.artisttherapy-kunstisttherapie. That's German for artisttherapy.com. And yeah, I would love to hear from you. And we can work together in my studio. I also drive around for art therapy and visit people in their homes or facilities where they live.
Amazing. Thank you very much for sharing that and for your time and your story, Kathy. I'm so looking forward to chat with you again. And everybody tuning in, tell me.
I have 2 freebies.
Oh, share it. Yeah, please.
Okay, one freebie is if you're far away from me, you can have a 50-minute session art therapy online. And another, if you're close by, you can do it with me in my studio. And the other freebie is on July 2nd or July 16th, you can have 2 free concert tickets for a concert in my studio and a studio tour.
Wow.
And I would love, if you watch this and you want to join, just, message me in Instagram or Facebook, or write an email, Kathy.Eichhorn Kathy@artisttherapy@gmail.com. Thank you, Sonia.
Beautiful. We'll definitely check it. Thank you, Kathy, very much. We keep in touch. Happy and safe travels, everybody.
Yeah. Bye.
Let's go.
Thank you so much.
Bye. Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Kathy.
Take care.
Bye.
Thank you.